What if I told you that you are living in 4 different worlds at this very moment, without even knowing it? Not in a metaphorical sense, but in a way that is as real as the chair you are sitting on and the air you are breathing. What if there was an ancient map, a guide to these hidden dimensions of your existence that could change how you see your soul's journey forever? This isn't some new philosophy. It is a piece of profound ancient Jewish wisdom, a framework from the mystics of Kabbalah, designed to navigate the very essence of reality. This map is the doctrine of the 4 worlds: Atzilut, Beriah, Yetzirah, and Assiyah. For centuries, this was considered esoteric, a secret teaching. The sages who guarded this knowledge understood that to gaze upon the architecture of creation without the proper grounding, without a foundation of humility and ethical discipline, was to risk becoming spiritually dizzy, lost in abstraction. But our world has changed. We are already dizzy, lost in the noise of constant information, endless striving, and a deep, unspoken spiritual hunger. In this age, this map is not a risk. It is a lifeline. It is the compass we have all been searching for. Understanding this framework can unlock a sense of purpose, a resilience to life's storms, and a connection to the divine that you may have thought was beyond your reach. I remember my own discovery of this map, not in a book, but in a moment of profound crisis. I was in my late 40s, standing in a glass-walled boardroom overlooking the city skyline. We had just closed a deal that made me, by any worldly measure, enormously successful. My partners were celebrating, champagne was being poured, but I felt nothing. It was worse than sadness, it was a complete absence, a vacuum where joy should have been. I was a ghost at my own feast. That hollowness followed me home, into my beautiful house filled with beautiful things, and the silence was deafening. I had won the game, but I had forgotten why I was playing. In this despair, I sought the counsel of an old mentor, Rabbi Benzion, a man whose quiet study smelled of aging paper and timeless wisdom. I told him of my success and my emptiness. He listened, his eyes holding a patient, knowing light. He didn't offer congratulations or condolences. Instead, he took a simple napkin, drew 4 circles, one above the other, and labeled them: action, emotion, thought, and being. He pushed the napkin across the table. "Solomon," he said, his voice gentle but firm, "you have become a master of the ground floor. You are an expert in the world of action. But you are starving to death because you have forgotten that your house has 3 other floors." That simple drawing shattered my reality. It was the beginning of my true education, the journey from building a fortune to cultivating a soul. It taught me that wealth is not a number, but a state of integration across all 4 dimensions of who we are. Are you ready to see the map of your own soul? Are you ready to explore the other rooms in your house? Let us begin where we all reside, the world most familiar to us, Assiyah, the world of action. This is the realm of physicality, of matter, of doing. It is the world of tangible results, of deadlines and bank statements, of building a business and raising a family. It is the world we can touch, see, and measure. The grand drama of human history, with its empires and economies, all unfolds on this physical stage. For many, this is the only stage they know. They believe that life is a straight line of cause and effect, that their value is determined by their productivity. They are so consumed by the script, chasing the next promotion, the next possession, the next dollar, that they forget they are actors with a deeper purpose. The spiritual lesson of Assiyah is that this physical world, with all its friction and resistance, is not a prison, but a gymnasium for the soul. A block of marble cannot become a sculpture without the chisel's force. A soul cannot be refined, cannot build the muscle of character without the challenges, the struggles, and even the heartbreaks of physical existence. I once mentored a brilliant young CEO who was obsessed with data. He lived in Assiyah. His entire company ran on spreadsheets and key performance indicators. His metrics were flawless, but his company culture was toxic. His best people were leaving. He couldn't understand why his perfect, logical system was failing. The problem was that he was managing the actions, but ignoring the world from which those actions sprang. That world, hovering just above and within Assiyah, is Yetzirah, the world of formation. This is the realm of emotions, desires, relationships, and the heart. Every action you take in the physical world is born from a feeling in this emotional world. You work late, Assiyah, because of a desire for security or a fear of failure, Yetzirah. You speak a kind word, Assiyah, because of a feeling of love, Yetzirah. My young CEO's team was disengaged not because of the work, but because they felt unappreciated and unseen. His frantic focus on numbers was driven by his own deep-seated fear of inadequacy. His entire company in Assiyah was a physical manifestation of the emotional chaos in his Yetzirah. Our work together was not on his business strategy, but on his emotional landscape. We began a simple practice from the Musar tradition, a daily accounting of the soul. Before sleep, he would ask himself, what feelings drove my actions today? Was it patience or impatience? Generosity or fear? As he began to simply name and observe his emotional drivers without judgment, something miraculous happened. He started to lead from a place of compassion rather than fear. He started seeing his employees as people, not data points. His actions in Assiyah transformed because he had finally tended to the world of Yetzirah. His business in turn was saved. So ask yourself, what is the emotional weather inside you right now? Is it stormy or calm? And how is that weather affecting everything you do and touch in the physical world? As we learn to navigate the heart's domain of Yetzirah, we can ascend to a realm of pristine clarity and infinite potential. Beriah, the world of creation. This is the world of the intellect, of pure thought, of consciousness itself. If Assiyah is the body and Yetzirah is the heart, Beriah is the mind. But we must make a crucial distinction, a point the great sage Maimonides would have stressed. We are not speaking of the ego mind, that noisy, frantic roommate in your head that endlessly chatters about fears, grievances, and doubts. That is merely the static, the echo of Yetzirah's untamed emotions. The mind of Beriah is the higher mind, the quiet, spacious consciousness of the neshama soul. It is the source of insight, intuition, and true creativity. It's the eureka, moment of a scientist, the flash of inspiration for an artist, that clear, quiet inner knowing that guides you to the right path. This is the creative blueprint of your reality. Every single thing that manifests in the lower worlds begins as a seed of thought in Beriah. A pure concept is born in this intellectual realm. This thought then descends, clothing itself in the energy of emotion in Yetzirah, creating desire or inspiration. That feeling, in turn, drives the physical action in Assiyah that makes the thought a concrete reality. This is the true, lawful process of creation. It brings with it a profound responsibility. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world of thought. If your mind is a garden overgrown with weeds of negativity and limiting beliefs, you cannot hope to harvest fruits of joy and abundance. I remember a friend, a gifted writer, who was tormented for years. In Assiyah, she was paralyzed, unable to write a single page of the book she dreamed of. In Yetzirah, she was drowning in feelings of self-doubt and a crippling fear of what others would think. Her breakthrough came when she learned to consciously shift her focus to Beriah. Her practice was to sit every morning, not to force herself to write, but to connect with the pure idea of her book. She asked herself, what is the soul of this story? What truth does it want to tell through me? She had a flash of insight, a thought from Beriah. This story is not mine to own, it is mine to serve. That single thought shifted everything. It dissolved the ego's fear and replaced it with a sense of purpose. The emotional storms of Yetzirah calmed, and the actions in Assiyah began to flow with ease. From this high place of clear thought, we can sometimes catch a glimpse of the final, highest world, Atzilut, the world of emanation. This is the world of pure being, of unity, where the individual soul remembers its source in the divine. Atzilut is not a place you visit, it is your true nature you return to. It's the awe that silences your mind before a snow-capped mountain. The boundless love that dissolves your sense of self when you look into the eyes of someone you cherish. The deep stillness in prayer where you disappear and only connection remains. These are moments of pure grace. A single moment in Atzilut recalibrates your entire being, reminding you that beneath the doing, the feeling, and the thinking, you are fundamentally whole, connected, and at peace. Reflect on this for a moment. Who is the author of your thoughts? Are they original creations from your higher mind, or are they recycled fears from the world around you? We have now traveled the great ladder of being, from the physical world of Assiyah, through the emotional world of Yetzirah, into the intellectual world of Beriah, and touched the divine world of Atzilut. The ultimate wisdom of this map, however, is not to escape the bottom floors for the penthouse. A bird with only one wing cannot fly. A life lived only in the spiritual or intellectual realms, detached from the realities of the body and the heart, is incomplete and powerless. The true work, the great art of a meaningful life, is integration. It is learning to live in all four worlds at once, consciously and harmoniously. Let's use the metaphor of a great tree. Assiyah is the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the visible, physical structure that interacts with the world. Yetzirah is the sap, the unseen life force, the emotional energy that flows through the tree, nourishing it, driving its growth. Beriah is the seed, the perfect, invisible blueprint, the divine intellect that holds the entire pattern of the oak before it ever breaks ground. And Atzilut is the sun, the rain, and the soil, the transcendent, divine source of all life from which the tree draws its existence and to which it reaches. A healthy tree is an integration of all four. So is a healthy soul. The journey is about creating a seamless flow between these realms. You can begin to practice this by simply asking, "Where am I now?" throughout your day. When you're stuck in traffic, frustrated and tense, you're in Assiyah and Yetzirah. Can you take a breath and ascend to Beriah? Can you access the higher thought? This is a temporary moment, it does not define my day. This is an opportunity to practice patience. In that moment, you have integrated a higher world into a lower one and transformed your experience. When you are making a major business decision, are you operating only from the cold logic of Beriah's spreadsheets? Or can you descend into Yetzirah and ask, how does this feel? What is my intuition saying? Can you ground it in Assiyah by asking, what is the real-world human impact of this decision? Here is a practical roadmap. In the morning, try the 1-minute alignment we discussed, but add a check-in at midday. Before you eat your lunch, pause. 1. Acknowledge your food and your body. I am here, nourished, in Assiyah. 2. Notice your emotional state. Stressed, calm. I acknowledge my feelings in Yetzirah. 3. Reconnect to your day's intention. I realign with my purpose from Beriah. 4. Take one silent bite and just be. For a single moment, touch the simple peace of Atzilut. This is how you build the inner musculature to live an integrated life. You stop being tossed around by circumstance and become the calm center of your own world. This is the path to true abundance. Not a wealth that is stored in banks, but a richness of being that is lived across all four worlds. A wholeness that is unshakable. I invite you to share your journey. Which of these four worlds feels most like home to you, and which feels like foreign territory? Share one small step you can take this week to visit a different floor in your own house. Your story is part of our collective wisdom.